Into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. That is from today's reading, one of the most famous passages in all of A Course in Miracles. We're on chapter 27, and chapter 27 is called The Healing of the Dream. This section is called The Hero of the Dream. Hero is in quotations, and in Helen's original handwritten notebook, this section was actually called Laughing Away the Tiny Mad Idea. So the tiny mad idea took central place in the original title, and the title that ended up in the Foundation for Inner Peace edition is The Hero of the Dream. So you'll see why. I think both titles are good. Another great quote from this section. There's a lot of great lines in this section, actually. And this is the end. This is the last section of this chapter. So it's kind of like the grand finale in a way. The secret of salvation is but this, that you are doing this unto yourself. You are doing this. Let's see why that is. Here we go. The hero of the dream. The body is the central figure in the dreaming of the world. There is no dream without it, nor does it exist without the dream in which it acts as if it were a person to be seen and be believed. It takes the central place in every dream, which tells the story of how it was made by other bodies, born into the world outside the body, lives a little while and dies to be united in the dust with other bodies dying like itself. In the brief time allotted it to live, it seeks for other bodies as its friends and enemies. Its safety is its main concern. Its comfort is its guiding rule. It tries to look for pleasure and avoid the things that would be hurtful. Above all, it tries to teach itself its pains and joys are different and can be told apart. The dreaming of the world takes many forms because the body seeks in many ways to prove it is autonomous and real. It puts things on itself that it has bought with little metal discs or paper strips the world proclaims as valuable and real. It works to get them doing senseless things and tosses them away for senseless things it does not need and does not even want. It hires other bodies that they may protect it and collect more senseless things that it can call its own. It looks about for special bodies that can share its dream. Sometimes it dreams it is a conqueror of bodies weaker than itself. But in some phases of the dream, it is the slave of bodies that would hurt and torture it. The body's serial adventures from the time of birth to dying are the theme of every dream the world has ever had. The quote, hero, unquote, of this dream will never change, nor will its purpose. Though the dream itself takes many forms and seems to show a great variety of places and events wherein its, quote, hero, unquote, finds itself, the dream has but one purpose, taught in many ways. This single lesson does it try to teach again, and still again, and yet once more, that it is cause and not effect, and you are its effect and cannot be its cause. Thus are you not the dreamer but the dream, and so you wander idly in and out of places and events that it contrives. That this is all the body does is true, for it is but a figure in a dream. But who reacts to figures in a dream unless he sees them as if they were real? The instant that he sees them as they are, they have no more effects on him, because he understands he gave them their effects by causing them and making them seem real. How willing are you to escape effects of all the dreams the world has ever had? Is it your wish to let no dream appear to be the cause of what it is you do? Then let us merely look upon the dream's beginning, for the part you see is but the second part, whose cause lies in the first. No one asleep and dreaming in the world remembers his attack upon himself. No one believes there really was a time when he knew nothing of a body and could never have conceived this world as real. He would have seen at once that these ideas are one illusion, too ridiculous for anything but to be laughed away. how serious they now appear to be, and no one can remember when they would have met with laughter and with disbelief. We can remember this if we but look directly at their cause, and we will see the grounds for laughter, not a cause for fear. Let us return the dream he gave away unto the dreamer, who perceives the dream as separate from himself and done to him. Into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny, mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. In his forgetting, did the thought become a serious idea and possible of both accomplishment and real effects. Together, we can laugh them both away and understand that time cannot intrude upon eternity. It is a joke to think that time could come to circumvent eternity, which means there is no time. A timelessness in which is time made real, a part of God that can attack itself, a separate brother as an enemy, a mind within a body, all are forms of circularity whose ending starts at its beginning, ending at its cause. The world you see depicts exactly what you thought you did, except that now you think that what you did is being done to you. The guilt for what you thought is being placed outside yourself and on a guilty world that dreams your dreams and thinks your thoughts instead of you. It brings its vengeance, not your own. It keeps you narrowly confined within a body, which it punishes because of all the sinful things the body does within its dream. You have no power to make the body stop its evil deeds, because you did not make it and cannot control its actions, nor its purpose, nor its fate. The world but demonstrates an ancient truth. You will believe that others do to you exactly what you think you did to them. But once deluded into blaming them, you will not see the cause of what they do, because you want the guilt to rest on them. How childish is the petulant device to keep your innocence by pushing guilt outside yourself, but never letting go. It is not easy to perceive the jest when all around you do your eyes behold its heavy consequences, but without their trifling cause. Without the cause do its effects seem serious and sad indeed. Yet they but follow, and it is their cause that follows nothing and is but a jest. In gentle laughter does the Holy Spirit perceive the cause and look not to effects. How else could he correct your error who have overlooked the cause entirely? He bids you bring each terrible effect to him, that you may look together on its foolish cause and laugh with him a while. You judge effects, but he has judged their cause, and by his judgment are effects removed. Perhaps you come in tears, but hear him say, quote, "My brother, holy Son of God, behold your idle dream in which this could occur," unquote. And you will leave the holy instant with your laughter and your brother's joined with his. The secret of salvation is but this, that you are doing this unto yourself. No matter what the form of the attack, this still is true. Whoever takes the role of enemy and of attacker, still is this the truth. Whatever seems to be the cause of any pain and suffering you feel, this is still true. For you would not react at all to figures in a dream you knew that you were dreaming. Let them be as hateful and as vicious as they may, they could have no effect on you unless you fail to recognize it is your dream. This single lesson learned will set you free from suffering, whatever form it takes. The Holy Spirit will repeat this one inclusive lesson of deliverance until it has been learned, regardless of the form of suffering that brings you pain. Whatever hurt you bring to him, he will make answer with this very simple truth. For this one answer takes away the cause of every form of sorrow and of pain. The form affects his answer not at all, for he would teach you but the single cause of all of them, no matter what their form. And you will understand that miracles reflect the simple statement, quote, "I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo." Bring then all forms of suffering to him who knows that every one is like the rest. He sees no differences where none exist, and he will teach you how each one is caused. None has a different cause from all the rest, and all of them are easily undone by but a single lesson truly learned. Salvation is a secret you have kept but from yourself. The universe proclaims it so. Yet to its witnesses you pay no heed at all, for they attest a thing you do not want to know. They seem to keep it secret from you, yet you need but learn you chose but not to listen, not to see. How differently will you perceive the world when this is recognized? When you forgive the world your guilt, you will be free of it. Its innocence does not demand your guilt, nor does your guiltlessness rest on its sins. This is the obvious, a secret kept from no one but yourself. And it is this that has maintained you separate from the world and kept your brother separate from you. Now need you but to learn that both of you are innocent or guilty. The one thing that is impossible is that you be unlike each other, that they both be true. This is the only secret yet to learn. And it will be no secret, you are healed. Jesus ends on a little play on words there. I think to highlight the humor, he ends on a little play on words. This is the one secret you need to learn, and it will be no secret that you are healed, right? Bringing in the humor. One thing that I have a lot to say about this. This video might go long today because there's a lot that we could say. And this is definitely one of the most famous passages in the whole course. Jesus did mention the tiny mad idea before, but this is actually the first time that he really gets into the tiny mad idea a little bit more in depth, right? And I believe the only time that I don't think there's really that much more about the tiny mad idea in the rest of the course. There's only like 4 more chapters. But anyway, one thing that I understood about Ken Wapnick, you can watch some videos of Ken Wapnick, like back in the 80s. He was a very serious guy. He was young. He was sincere and serious. I think he was always sincere, but he was, he wasn't a comedian. But as he got older, and as he warmed up, and he started to become funnier and funnier. He was actually a very funny guy, and I think he understood, that's one thing that's really missing from the world of religion and spirituality. Not that the course is a religion, but let's say spirituality, is that people get so serious about these things, and they don't, they take spirituality too seriously. And that's also a mistake. The Bible is a very serious affair. How much humor is there in the Bible? There's not hardly any. Now, all of a sudden, Jesus is saying that the Holy Spirit, looks smilingly at the cause, at the trifling cause, and remembers that it all started with a joke. And that's my next book, by the way. It started as a joke. Seriously, I've started to write this book. It started as a joke. I actually published another book last year called No Joke, which is also a whole joke book based on A Course in Miracles, basically. It's on Amazon if you're interested. But anyway, way back when, even before Christianity, there was Buddha. If Buddha really existed, who knows? Maybe he was made up. I mean, everything's made up, but maybe Buddha was a fictional character. But we know of Buddhism, from Buddhism, what is the first noble truth of Buddha? Dukkha, suffering. Suffering, all embodied beings experience suffering, right? And it's due to attachment. It's due to desire and attachment. But But that desire and attachment, there is a way to overcome that. And then Buddha's eightfold path, the Noble Eightfold Path of the Buddha is the way to overcome dukkha, right? To overcome suffering. Around the same time, there was a great epic, the longest epic in the world's history, epic story. It's called Mahabharata. And in that epic story from India, there is a very small section of 18 chapters that is called the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, it starts with Arjuna getting very upset. He's on the battlefield. He's about to fight this battle against his own kinsman. And he goes out in the middle of the battlefield with his chariot driver, who is Krishna. And Arjuna begins to get very upset because he knows that he doesn't know, because he's questioning whether he should even fight this battle. And he's getting very upset. And he asks for Krishna's help and counsel. And Krishna starts his discourse. As he starts, he's smiling. He's even starting to laugh. Arjuna is crying. Krishna is smiling or laughing. Krishna is like the Holy Spirit there. He knows that there's nothing to cry about. There's nothing to get upset about. But Arjuna doesn't know that yet, right? So, that's where we are. Arjuna doesn't know the secret yet, right? Krishna knows the secret. The secret is, Arjuna, man, you made this up. You dreamed this dream. This is your dream, right? It's all based on this tiny mad idea that you took seriously, and hence the dream, and hence this is where you are, why you are where you are now. You forgot that you made this up. You agreed to this dream, right? This is the dream that you created in order to give reality to the tiny mad idea. But the tiny mad idea is not real. It's an impossibility, right? That's the joke, is that, what would it be like to be separate from God? Well, that's funny. That's a joke, that it's impossible. But still, what would it look like? Well, what would that be like? So, let's read a little bit, okay? The body's serial adventures, this is a great line. The body's serial adventures from the time of birth to dying are the theme of every dream the world has ever had. The hero of this dream will never change, nor will its purpose. Though the dream itself takes many forms and seems to show a great variety of places and events wherein its hero finds itself, the dream has but one purpose, taught in many ways. This single lesson is to try to teach again and still again and yet once more that it is cause and not effect. And you are its effect and cannot be its cause. When you realize that the body is the effect and not the cause, the body will have no effects, will have no effect on you, right? It's another play on words. When you realize that the body is the effect and not the cause, when you realize the world is not the cause, that your mind is the cause, it will have no effect. How willing are you to escape effects of all the dreams the world has ever had? That's a very important question, and that's the question that Jesus keeps asking, is that how bad do you want this? Or how good do you want this? Right? How much do you want to know the truth? Do you want to know it with all of your being? And if you do, you will know it. But as long as you are hiding, as long as you don't want it, or are pushing it away or resisting it, you will not see it. because you do not want to see it. How willing are you to escape effects of all the dreams the world has ever had? Is it your wish to let no dream appear to be the cause of what it is you do? Then let us merely look upon the dream's beginning, for the part you see is but the second part, whose cause lies in the first. No one asleep and dreaming in the world remembers his attack upon himself. We do not remember what happened originally. Jesus is here to tell us this. We cannot remember from where we are right now. No one asleep and dreaming in the world remembers his attack upon himself. No one believes there really was a time when he knew nothing of a body and could never have conceived this world as real. He would have seen at once that these ideas are one illusion too ridiculous for anything but to be laughed away. How serious they now appear to be, and no one can remember when they would have been met with laughter and with disbelief. We can remember this if we but look directly at their cause, and we will see the grounds for laughter, not a cause for fear. So that's where Jesus sets the stage for this tiny mad idea. So let's read the next part, which is the tiny mad idea part. Let us return the dream he gave away unto the dreamer, who perceives the dream as separate from himself and done to him. Right? We think that the world is being done to us. We think that others, outside of ourselves are causing our suffering. But we are the dreamer of the dream. We made it up. So into eternity, where all is one, into eternity where all is one, there crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. In his forgetting, did the thought become a serious idea and possible of both accomplishment and real effects. Okay, let's stop there for a second. It starts by saying, into eternity where all is one, there crept a tiny mad idea. Where did the tiny mad idea come from? Jesus doesn't say. And did the tiny mad idea come from outside of the Son of God? So, because it says there crept into eternity where all is one, there crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. It does not say that the Son of God thought of this tiny mad idea. I think, I think that there's a method to what Jesus is saying. He's not making it explicit, and don't take this literally either. I wouldn't take this literal. This is metaphor. But I think he's trying to say that the Son of God, first of all, the Son of God is one with God. So that's also metaphor. These are also symbolic words to describe something beyond our consciousness, beyond our conception at this moment. So he doesn't even want to say the Son of God thought this, because there was no Son of God, right? In eternity, there's no Son of God. There's no God per se. If there's only a oneness, it's beyond words, because there's no words. There's no language, there's no words, there's only the one reality. So in a sense, that's why you don't necessarily even have to have the concept of God per se, or the concept of God as we usually think of God does not work for the Course. If anything, this is like the unmoved mover, Aristotle's unmoved mover. Even that might be a limiting concept. I don't think any concept really could possibly work. There's I forget who said it, but if we could understand, if we could conceive of what God is, it wouldn't be God. Although some people would say, if you can conceive of God, that proves that God exists. But I would say it works the other way as well, which is if you can, if you have a conception of God, that's not God. Could work both ways. Let us return the dream he gave away unto the dreamer. Into eternity where all is one, there crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. Okay, so it says the Son of God remembered not to laugh. Does not say at first, most people think of it as the Son of God forgot to laugh, right? Does not say that in this line. It says the Son of God remembered not to laugh, which means that there is no laughter. Laughter is not warranted. Why? Because it would mean that there's something outside of God. This is the way I look at it, right? Remembered not to laugh means everything is, all possibilities are in God. Not God is a possibility in God, so to speak, right? So this is just one possibility. So there was nothing to laugh at in this one possibility, because it's just one possibility in the mind of God, so to speak, right? Again, this is all metaphor. Don't take this seriously. But it's one possibility, right? That God doesn't exist, right? In the mind of God. Why not? If God holds all possibilities within God's self, you could say, then why wouldn't there be the idea that God does not exist? that could be there too, that there is no God. So this is not something to laugh at. And laughing at it would also make it real, would give it reality, right? So remember not to laugh is a good thing. The Son of God remembered not to laugh at it. That's a good thing, because laughing at it would make it real. Then it goes on to say, in his forgetting did the thought become a serious idea, impossible of both accomplishment and real effects. So then Jesus says, well, the remembering means that the Son of God forgot to laugh. But he did say he remembered not to laugh. So which is it? I think it's, there's a paradox here. But the point that I think Jesus really wants to make is that from where we are, we have to remember to laugh, right? Never forget to laugh. That was Bill Thetford's quote. We have to remember not to laugh. Forget about what may or may not have happened in eternity, right? Where we are now, we have to remember to laugh at the tiny mad idea. In his forgetting did the thought become a serious idea, impossible of both accomplishment and real effects. Together, we can laugh them both away and understand that time cannot intrude upon eternity. It is a joke to think that time can come to circumvent eternity, which means there is no time. So now it becomes that Jesus is saying, this is all about time. If eternity is the only reality, and eternity means no time, then we have to live in which that is true. We have to live in a way in which we understand that there is no time. And the atonement principle is that idea, that there never was a time when God was not. God has always been, always was, is, and will be. And anything that is not part of God's love is illusory. So anything that does not partake of that love, which would be any attack, any separation, is not real. in which suffering exists. It's not ultimately real. It's only real in a dream, in a nightmare, in a dream, a nightmarish dream, right? This video is going on very long. I don't want to go. I don't want to go too long. I think, should we go on? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Maybe we'll do another video just on this idea, but I'll leave it here for now, and maybe I'll do another video on this. So anyway, thank you for listening, and next chapter is chapter 28, The Undoing of Fear. But stay tuned for more. Thank you.